James Hudnall, and we have our guests are going to be Andrew Anderson and Matt Cossin, who I just invited. Hopefully, they're going to join in a second now. This is my second attempt at this. There's another video where I'm trying to get this sorted out, so I'm just waiting for the other guys to show up. I just sent them the invites, and see if they show up here. Hey, good. It worked. Now I know how to do this properly.
Yay, I'm glad I taught you something.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I tried to find out online. I tried to read up on it, and I couldn't find the answer.
No, I did it like 5 times. And I was like, I know the answer to this. I'm going to go back to the TARDIS.
Okay. So anyway, so that was Andrew Anderson, and he's here, and Matt should be joining us any minute now. And we're going to talk about our comics in general and other stuff. So you've got a new comic that just debuted today on Indiegogo, the Knox. Can you tell us about it?
It's about a bunch of Vietnam veterans who try to steal back what they feel they're owed. So they try to break into Fort Knox and steal the gold.
Is it a period piece or is it set in current time?
It is a period piece. So it's very 70s-ish.
Hey.
That's cool. So this what inspired you to do this project?
I've always wanted to do something about the Vietnam War. And I was sitting in the Antarctic Press Guardian Knights offices pitching these stories about the Vietnam War. And I always loved The Losers, and I always loved Sergeant Rock. And so I was like, well, what if it was this? And they said, okay, that we can do. And so from there, I kind of just eventually, it sort of just became my thing instead of an in-house property. But I really wanted to hold on to it and launch it as my own baby.
That's cool.
And we got lucky with Ron, too. So Ron came onto the project pretty early, and he's been helping me out.
Ron McCain.
Yeah. We settled on something really that old school Sergeant Rock feel to it. That's what we wanted. So.
And you're going to be printing it in newsprint, I understand?
Yes, we're going to go for newsprint. We got Dave Dorman to do a cover for us, too. So that's going to be sweet.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, so, and when is it scheduled to come out?
We scheduled it in May to give us enough time to, in case there's any hiccups along the way, we want to be able to deliver it on time and hopefully early, but I wanted to give me that buffer because I knew with the Gears and Bones stuff, we didn't give ourselves, we barely made it by the skin of our teeth. I don't want to have to worry or wait, especially with Ron cranking out the pages right now as he is. So
yeah, the deadline thing is something to behold. So Gears and Bones, how did that do generally?
Well, I mean, the campaign was fairly successful. It sold all right in stores, and then this past weekend at Alamo City, the trade sold very well.
That's good. Well, it takes time. The main thing you got to remember is that the key is to get things done, because once you have things done, then they will exist, and over time, it can be repackaged. It can be, you can get options. You can get all kinds of things to happen as a result of it existing. If you don't have anything, if you never have accomplished anything, then there's nothing for it to blossom into other things, other opportunities. But when you create something, you sort of give people an idea about you and your work, and that can lead to other things. It can open a lot of doors, so it's always good to produce. It's something that certainly helped me, especially in my early part of my career. I wish I had produced more in the last 20 years, but life being what it is, you know.
I mean, Hud, you've had an impressive career. I will say that, though. My uncle is a huge fan of your book that you did with Paquette, Andrew Paquette.
Oh, okay. Harsh Realm.
Yeah, he was a huge fan of that, and he wanted to know if you guys were going to do a reboot anytime soon or anything like that.
Well, Andrew is very busy. He was a professor of art in the Netherlands for a long time, but now he's moved back to the States. So it's a possibility. He's generally, I mean, we're still good friends and everything. And, we've talked about stuff over time. We do own it technically because of, I think the period has lapsed as far as the show. It's hard to say. That's sort of illegal. But we are okay. Our settlement with Fox is the Fox TV show sort of tied up rights and everything, but they gave us the comic book rights, so we have the rights to do anything comic book related. So it's something I might talk to him about. But right now I've got like a bunch of projects that I'm working on, so I got to kind of focus on those things. My most current project is Agenda, as you know, which is now also in Indiegogo right now. It's been, I guess, a couple weeks now. So, that's got till December, about right before Christmas. So, we're working on that. And then I plan to do a color trade of Age of Heroes. John Ridgway, the artist, has been coloring it. It looks really beautiful, and want to do a trade of that next year. And also Blue Cat, which is a comic I did for with Val Merrick for Aces Weekly, an online comic magazine. We want to do a trade of that. Mm-hmm. Val is uploading me all the 300 DPI art so I can put that together in a trade, which will be interesting. So that's for next year also. So those are like 3 things I'm focusing on. But then I also have some other projects too, like Night Lord, which is a comic I've been working on that looks cool. Anyway, that's about it for me. What about you, Matt? I know you're working on Agenda.
Yeah, right now I'm working on that one. That's the main focus. I'm also doing a book. My brother and I, we did started like a magazine we self-published. It's called, and we've been doing 3 different stories by 3 different artist writers. So it's like I'm doing my character, which is called Agent Orange, and just doing his different stories. And then Becky Yard is also doing a story. It's like a more of a chibi type of humor sci-fi story. So but yeah, we're working on that right now, and of course doing the majority of my time is spent doing the pages here, which I'm actually drawing right now while I'm talking. I want to do more live stream as well to kind of help promote, but I don't want to show what I'm working on because I don't want people to give away the project I'm working on, the agenda pages. So I might set aside maybe 10-15 minutes here and there just doing a sketch or warm or something. But yeah. By the way, I saw I like the cover image that you have on your Indiegogo, Andrew. The golden grenade.
Oh yeah,
that's cool.
That was the iconic. Original. Yeah, that was the original. Like when we announced it at C2E2, that was the original cover, and we went back and forth on it, and they wanted to do it in the poppy fields and stuff like that, like have the American flag in the poppy fields and stuff like that. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. That's cool. You have the American flag, and the shadow as the shadow, right?
Yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah, they're like iconic looking too. So one of those images that's easy to remember, burns into your brain.
Oh yeah, and it's the one that everyone is excited about. When we were putting out Gears and Bones, they were like, "Yeah, we like this, but when's the Nox coming out?" Well, it's finally here, so I'm excited.
A cool name.
Yeah, it really is. I originally wanted to call it Hard Knocks, but the publisher originally said no
Oh.
because they've had a hard life.
Okay, yeah. They didn't want to leave that open, huh, for anybody.
Yeah.
To,
And another reason I wanted to do it on my own is like if it's a one and done story, and if it's successful, I didn't want the publisher to say, "Hey, we want a sequel." I wanted to be able to say yes or no. I wanted full rights and control over that, because if it does well and it is good, I don't want something like before Watchmen or after Watchmen or happening. I want it to stand on its own. I want it that's the most important thing to me.
Yeah. Don't want someone just trying to cannibalize it and to make an extra few bucks. That's the thing. It's probably difficult, I think, for creators too, because if you something like that, like you said, does take off, it gets optioned for some other project or whatever. I mean, you're kind of like you're in between. Well, you want money, you want the pay, but you also don't want to, destroy anything that you created, or at least tarnish it in some way.
Oh, I learned that lesson a long time ago with my first book. I sold the film rights to it years ago. I finally got those rights back, but me and they came to me and they said, "Hey, we optioned this project from Larry Hama. We optioned one from Chuck Dixon, and then we optioned one from Gary Reed. We have room for one more on our slate. We liked your book. Can we do it?" I said, "If it's good enough for those guys, it's good enough for me." Never got made.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's how it is a lot of times. Yeah, that happened with one of my books I worked on for Humanoids with Chuck Austin. They optioned it for a film, and even if you went on IMDb, it was actually up there for a little while, where they had the director of The Losers. He was a French director, I believe it was. He did Stomp the Yard before that, and then they had a screenwriter for Master and Commander. He was slated to write it.
Oh yeah.
And, so I was kind of jazzed about that. It was Brett Ratner Studios. They optioned it, and but yeah, they got that, and then what was it? Chuck Austin was actually working with Wolfgang Peterson trying to get that going for a movie, but because Poseidon Adventure, bombed, that kind of, I guess, destroyed any chance of them getting something like a sci-fi going.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, I think it was a Tarantino-style book where it was a spy story told out of order. So Lawrence Bender signed on to produce it. And then they got Michael Grayus to write the script for it. And then they went and they said, "You know what? We want to do it as a TV show," because the CW at the time was looking for comic book properties. And they said, because they wanted to do the lineup. And so it got all the way to like the pilot stage. And then they said, "Nope, we're going to use all the WB characters that we have access to, so we don't have to pay you." And I was really hurt. For the longest time, I did not watch Arrow or Flash because of that. I was so hurt by that. Because like that could have been my time spot.
Yeah, that's the thing. I wouldn't get too upset about it though. And when you look at those shows, that shows you enough to say that you probably missed a bullet. So
you look at the bright side, right?
Yeah, well, it's like I
always had fun to the positive.
The Harsh Realm experience, and not just that one, but it was a previous Harsh Realm experience because originally I was taking the book around to Hollywood with my manager, and we got interest at ABC, and a pretty good producer like Law and Order, not Law and Order, but one of those shows like that, was interested in doing it, and we had talks, and there was like we were like talking about setting up a writer's room and everything, and all this time I was talking to Harris Comics, the publisher, about it. Now, when I did this book, I was sold the idea that it was a creator-owned book, right? But what I didn't understand at the time was that if you give them the copyright. If you give them control of the rights, which I did for a limited time, I assumed that, you know, they would be working with me on that. But what they did is as soon as things got serious with ABC, they said, stop talking to James Hudnall. He doesn't have a right to this property. You have to talk to us from now on. And they wanted to cut me out of that negotiation. So ABC just got, you know, they just cut off the whole thing because they just saw it as a problem, you know. So instead of just telling me, working with, you know, letting me know, you know, I was telling them everything because I thought we were on the same page. We were helping each other. But instead, they just wanted complete control, which is, you know, I'm the person who created it. But that really burned me. And then my manager and my agent at the time managed to get another deal, and that one ended up being with Chris Carter. But the same thing where Harris had to be involved, and they didn't want me involved, and all this stuff. For whatever reasons, what they had against me, I don't know. But what I made the mistake of in the contract that I signed originally, I didn't specify that the credit has to be given to the creators on anything that springs from this comic. So if there's a TV show or movie, they have to give us credit. See, I didn't know that you have to put that in. If you don't, they can just not give you credit. It's insane, but because you would think people would want to get credit, right? But no, and not everyone is like that. And Chris Carter was like it. He didn't want to give us any credit. He wanted to hog all the credit for himself. In fact, we had to sue him and everything, and that was really terrible. But we ended up settling, and we got the rights that we wanted, the credits we wanted, and everything. But the show was canceled. But the point is that burned me emotionally for a long time. I mean, I was emotionally kind of wounded by that whole experience, and that's partially why I didn't do a lot of comics after that. You know, I did the Ultraverse and I did stuff, but you know, this Harsh Realm thing kind of was towards the end of the 90s, around the same time the industry collapsed, and I just kind of got burned out on everything after that for a while. And you know, that's you shouldn't. Anyways, the moral of the story is you shouldn't let these things get to you as much as they got to me. You should just consider it a life lesson. And as somebody told me when we had our deal, when I had our negotiations with Fox and everything, and somebody, my lawyer, a friend of mine who's a lawyer, told me that just be glad there wasn't this terrible show that has your name on it. You know, be glad that you escaped that, because there really wasn't a lot of money in it for you, and it was because of the deal that was struck with Harris, gave them the lion's share and everything. It's just, I'll tell you what, it made me not want to cut any deals with anyone after that. I wanted to have much more control and scrutiny over everything. You really should do that, you know, and just be careful of teaming up with any publishers that want rights, because you can't expect them to watch your back, even if you know them and you're friends with them. You know, the people that run the company may not be your friends. You might be friends with the editor or something, like I was. The editor was friendly with me, but her boss was the one that was really the problem. So anyway.
Oh yeah. I've heard about that. People, there's actually, the studios will actually buy off or option, not even just option, but buy your actual, and then just never, so that no one else can get a hold of it. Like, they don't believe in it, but they don't want someone taking it just in case it does become successful. So they just.
Yeah, that's exactly what Marvel did when they bought Malibu. They're sitting on all those characters, the Ultraverse characters, and they apparently will never do anything with them. Apparently, you know, it's like a mystery to us. There's like general rumors as to why this is. It has something to do with the deal that was made when it was sold to Marvel. I don't know. All I know is that people will sit on your rights, and some companies will buy rights just so that nobody else can do it, but they don't intend to do anything with it. And it's just like a weird kind of hoarding thing that some people have. There's just a lot of weird, crazy people in Hollywood, basically.
Yeah.
You gotta watch yourself, you just gotta watch yourself. But, don't be discouraged either, because, as long as you have your eyes open and you work with the right people, like a good entertainment lawyer or something, they know what to avoid so that you won't get in trouble. And that's what I've done since then.
Yeah. I had a good attorney for that Chuck Austin book. The company Humanoids actually owed me money, and they weren't paying me. They were having trouble financially, I guess. And then finally, months later, they contacted me. Go, oh yeah, how much do we owe you again? And they're like, yeah, we'll send that to you. And then I found out the reason they're so happy to send something to me is because they need me to sign that contract deal to get the film optioned with the Brett Ratner Studios. Because right after I got the money, they go, oh, here, by the way, we got a document we need to sign. And I'm like, ah. So, but yeah, I got Mobius's old attorney. I think you know him, James. That was it. Jean, was it L'Officier? L'Officier, that we used to work for Star Watchers.
Right.
Yeah, and he was really cool. He gave me a real good deal because he goes, hey, I always try to help out the up and coming guys. So he was cool. He just like looked over my contract for a flat fee, and he kind of touched up a little part of it, and then sent it back to them. So, but he told me not to tell Humanoids that I had him working with me, because I guess he sued them a few times and they had a problem with him.
Yeah, he's worked with them before. He's French, and he actually went to the Sorbonne in France, which is a major college over there in Paris. But he knows those guys. He actually told me when I did a book with him to watch out for them. So
yeah, he told me the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, basically they've reprinted my book several times. The book is called Aftermath. It's available in a trade, but I've never seen any royalties or anything. And yet, why would they keep?
Neither have I.
Yeah, and then when they did, and for years I didn't get any statements on the sales or anything, even though they're supposed to give it to us. And when they finally gave it to us, it was unreadable, and you couldn't really make it heads or tails.
You can't tell what. Yeah. I still get them every once in a while, every few months maybe. I'll get an email, and it's all in French, but it's like, it's a little chart. I don't know. You can't tell the details of it, like you said, but.
Yeah, I used to get those. I don't get those anymore, so I don't know. I've just written it off, but it's the nature of it. I needed the work at the time, so and they paid me, but I don't know.
Yeah, the same here. I better weigh it out.
Yeah. But anyway, so Anthony, what do you got going on besides your comic? Anything?
I'm working on a novel right now, a crime thriller, but that's about it. Just working, trying to prove myself, That's about it. I think.
What's the name?
I think the main. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say again that you had with the giant, like the rabbit guy on the.
That's Gears and Bones. It's.
That's okay. Gears.
Yeah, it's really it was a fun series to write. It's a hard series to write because there was a lot of interference from two different editors, but one of the editors had good ideas and the other editor had okay ideas, and they both wanted both their ideas in there. I didn't get to put my ideas in there, but
yeah, exactly.
What kind of a project was it supposed to be? Was it a creator-owned or was it a company-owned project?
It was company-owned, so I had to do what they wanted me to, which is understandable. Which is why I didn't fight them on it. But it was fun writing, and I have fun talking to the fans. The fans seem to love it. So I'm working on the next. I'm also working on a one-shot for that. So we'll see.
Cool.
We'll see if it ever gets made. If it gets made, yay! If not, oh well. I wrote it and it exists.
You just got to keep
Yeah.
moving on and keep doing things, and you'll get there. It's a process. The industry is in a very strange place right now. It's not a great time to start, but here's the thing: when I started comics, it was actually the first time I tried to get into comics was '81, and in '81, the industry was in a real kind of weird position. Well, a few years before that, like 1978, 1979, the industry almost died. The publishers, I mean, DC was going to go straight to reprints, and Marvel was basically hanging on by a thread. And then in that time, I stopped reading comics around 77 before I went in the Air Force because I just didn't like what was coming out. So, but then, there were some books that sort of revitalized the industry, and that was Frank Miller's Daredevil and I guess Teen Titans by Marvel Man and stuff, and the X-Men. Those three books were really bringing a lot of people back into comics. And then I came back in around 1981, and I got inspired by it. And I always wanted to be a writer, so I looked into it, and I found an artist and everything, and I had this fantasy book I wanted to do. But back then, there was only a few places you could get printed comics, and they wanted like a huge amount of money. And the printing and technology and everything was really primitive back then. So that's why people like Wendy Peeney, the Peenies did ElfQuest and Cerebus. Those were done black and white. That was the more feasible way to do things. But I wanted to do a color comic. I really would have gotten into it in my head. So instead, I didn't do it. It sort of fell apart when I realized how much was involved. So I had to wait till an opportunity came in '86. I met the publishers of Clips Comics, and I offered to work for them for free for like a day out of the week to be their marketing guy, so I could learn the business from the inside. And then I basically kind of used them as the distributor of my comic, Espers, and I was able to use their Rolodex to get the addresses of all these famous comic artists and writers. Well, not writers because I'm a writer, but so I was able to get all these artists to do my covers and everything. And so that's how I did it. And you just got to look for opportunities and jump on them. I was lucky, And then from that, I was able to get work at Marvel and DC from the fact that I produced Espers and liked it, So it's just a matter of just getting stuff out there, and then hopefully. But the thing is, the industry right now is imploding, and it's like they're trying to deliberately destroy it or something, which is the thing that disgusts me about the whole process. I mean, that's kind of why Comicsgate came about, is people are just kind of tired of what the big companies are doing, and they want to go their own way. Of course, the enemy, I call them the enemy, but the people that hate Comicsgate, they really just lie about it and everything, try to defame people that are involved in it, and it's just people that want to do their own comics outside of the corporate, oppressive environments that the corporations are trying to shoehorn all this politics into stuff. It's just where it doesn't belong. And we just want to make, fun and enjoyable comics. That's all.
They just want to control. It's about control.
Yeah, it is. Where are you on this, Anthony? Andrew?
I'm on the side where I just want to make comics. I want to make them fun. I want to make them like when I was growing up and reading them, They were cool. And today I haven't bought a Marvel book or a DC book in years. I bought a reprint for Marvel not too long ago of The Punisher, Ghost and Nom. But that's about it, I've been buying old singles and back issues that I find. I found some Badger at a local antique shop that I went back and bought up.
That's pretty much what I do. I buy back issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I loved comics so much. I would go there religiously every Wednesday when the books came in. I would be there when they were unboxing the books, and I would bring home a stack of comics, and I did that for years and years. And even when I was in the industry, although eventually I started getting comps, so I would get free books from Marvel and DC. And the funny thing is, when I started getting for free, I ended up throwing away most of them or giving them away to like charity or something. And that was when comics were a lot better than they are now. I mean, but the thing is, I remember what it was like to be excited about a comic series and to want to read the next issue and not, be all excited and wait to see when it was coming out and just pour over every page and the art and everything. I remember that, and there's no reason why people shouldn't feel that way now. Except that there's like a dark cynicism that sort of pervades the main industry, where there's just that whole politicization thing for me is just really repulsive. But also because nobody likes to be preached to, and nobody likes to have, be told they're supposed to think a certain way or anything. I mean, that's just oppressive. People don't spend money. You can't expect people to spend money on something that's nothing but a lecture and just and a bad lecture at that, a bad lecture with bad, storytelling and bad art. I mean, 'cause that's the way a lot of those things are. And and it's like, I mean, we should be entertained by these things. I mean, they want ridiculous amounts of money for comics. I mean, I can remember when comics were like 20 cents or 15 cents. And when I was a kid, I would buy like a huge stack of comics. I would get the money from somewhere, and I would have stacks of comics. And, back in the 80s and 90s even, there were still a lot of things. I mean, there still are good comics coming out because I was an Eisner judge a few years back, and I had to read like everything possible for that year that I was judging. And so I saw a lot of good comics, but most of them are indie comics, and they were from, places that I never even heard of. And that's the trouble, is for people to be discovered. I think that's one of the great things about crowdfunding, is that it allows people to promote their work and get it out there on social media so that people can discover these things. I really think the future of comics is going to be independent comics. It's not going to be the stodgy old companies. They have all the money to promote themselves, and they have all these movies and everything. But I think ultimately people will get tired of that, and they will want something fresh, and we can provide that to them. So I am very much into that idea, because I am not giving up, on comics at all.
Oh yeah,
No,
there's so
I
much you
agree.
can do with it.
Yeah, it's just I think it's we need to just fight as best we can and do what we can to show them how it can be done, and we just have to put our energies into it and put the passion into the work, because that's what's lacking from those corporate products. They just don't have any passion in them. You can just tell the people that are creating those books, they're just not, because they're being told to do stuff that they're not able to do it on their own the way they would like to do it. That's why so many people leave those companies, even though they could have a good gig working there. A lot of people, big names, end up leaving those companies. And I know from experience that it's just kind of soulless to work at those places. They don't really care about you at all. And they just, even though the creative people are the most important element of their company, they're like, it's just like a agriculture company not caring about the farmers and just treating the farmers like dirt. That's kind of like the comic industry. It's like, they just don't appreciate the fact that they exist because of creators, and the creators should be, I mean, I realize that a lot of creators are ridiculous jerks and everything, but that's another story. But I mean, in general, they should be at least appreciated better, But my feeling is, why worry about that? Just do it yourself somewhere else. Now the playing field has been leveled for the most part. I mean, you don't need publishers anymore, and the printing opportunities are so much better now with print on demand. The fact that, like, for example, the printer that I'm using for Agenda, they have really excellent quality, and they print on demand. So as many orders as I need, then that's fine, and they fulfill the orders to the customer. And basically, I don't have to keep like stacks of boxes in storage. They can just print on demand. So if I need more copies, they can just print them. The technology has advanced to that level. You know, it's really great.
Yeah, that's one thing I appreciate too. Like with the magazine we're doing, we don't have to order 1,000 or 2,000 copies of a book and then try to figure out where to put it, store it at your place. Right? It's like you could just order a few copies, have it come in for a con, bring them to the table, just to meal them out. You know, instead of bringing like a giant. Yeah, like we had last time, we had over 1,000 books we had to store in a closet, make closet space for, and that's a pain.
Yeah, you know,
technology.
Yeah, I mean, like I used to have, I still have them, like boxes and boxes of Espers from the original print run, because I just thought I needed them, you know. But of course, I could probably just throw them away, a lot of them, because I don't need them. But nobody's buying them.
No, man. What you do is you use those as part of your perks.
That's a good idea. Yeah,
that's good.
Well, one of the things.
That way you get rid of them.
Yeah, that's sure.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do with all my old copies of 31. I'm just going to start throwing them in with the Knox.
Nice. Yeah, that's good idea, man.
I'll add that to my perks this weekend, because you know you always got to keep coming up with new ideas for perks. I just added last weekend. I added a military perk because I guess Mike Miller was doing that with his book, and already we got a bunch of people, and it's basically sending books to the troops. They get some copies of their own, but then a bunch of books will be donated to the troops overseas. And a lot of people like that perk, apparently, because Mike got sold about 115 or 20 of those, and they're pretty, for like $80 a pop. So.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, people were commenting about that.
I guess I should maybe do that because mine's a military book too.
Absolutely, you should tie it
in. Yeah, I mean, they commented on when we were on Drawn and Quartered. When I was on there, they said that one of the people in the chat said, yeah, they recommended getting that because they said that really prompts them personally to buy that tier, So I was like, oh, cool. I didn't think about it, so it's nice. I mean, little things like that. I started thinking of some other ones too. That I was going to talk to you about later, James.
Okay, sure. So Anthony, go ahead. Sorry. Anthony, what's the address of your Indiegogo? They give you a short address, like ours is igg.me/at/agenda. That's the short address for our campaign. Do you have your short address?
I'm not too sure. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, if you go to on the side there where you're in the dashboard, there's like extras, and you go down to extras, and it shows you what the short address for your campaign is, and that's what you can use. It's easy to remember. It's going to be igg.me/at/the Knox. That'll probably be what it is.
All right. Well, let me try and pull that up. Go to my campaigns. Live.
And then over on the side, you scroll. It's like the area where they have edit campaign and all that. There's like below that, you'll see extras.
Resources.
Maybe it's in there. Normally I think it was in extras, but look in resources, and there might be in there.
Extras. There we go.
And down there in the middle or down below, you should see the short address. It's
yeah. We'll do the Knox for mine.
Yeah, and what that'll do is that'll give people an easy address to remember, and you can send that to people, and we'll of course put that on the description for this video when it's posted, so that people can click it to get to your Indiegogo.
Yeah. That one that I just sent on the chat.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I see it. Excellent.
Let me make sure it works.
You have to save it. You have to save the page before it might go.
Oh. Let's go.
You scroll down to the bottom of that page where you entered it, and then hit save, and then it should be live.
The hell. All right, there we go. All right, let me try it again. Make sure it works. Hey, there it goes.
Great. So we taught each other something today.
Yes, we did. Woo! I mean, 6 backers, that's not bad for a few hours. So
That's great. Now what you want to do is you want to get on some other people's videos. Like I was lucky to get invited on to Ethan Van Shiver's video, and we got a ton of people from that. But you know, if you know Mike Miller, or you know any of these people, it's good to get on their shows.
yeah, I know Mike. He'll probably have me on in a little bit. John Malin, I know he's excited about it. He'll have me on.
Yeah, he's another guy that's good to know. Yeah, so just get as many of these guys you can, and you know, get them on your show too if they will do it. And just, you know, because everybody wants to promote their stuff, and you got to do it. You got to keep beating that drum. That's the key.
Oh, yeah.
You just got to keep beating the drum.
Oh yeah, definitely for sure.
But you know, this is the thing.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say I wanted to get a hold of John Malin. I wanted to get a hold of him because he's also from Detroit, which is where I'm from. So, yeah.
Shoot him a message on Twitter. He's very active.
Yeah, I shot one. Yeah, he put out a call for people to tweet to him about trying to get their book on his live stream. So I sent him one. So there's a ton of them on there. So we'll see. But yeah, he seems like a cool guy. I listened to some of his videos on his channel.
Yeah, I've been on his channel once or twice. So back when I thought we were going to launch in September, I did a press run real fast, and we didn't. And then today we just decided, let's do this. It's now or never.
Yeah, it's that jitters at the start of something. You can give everybody to see.
Yeah.
And then you're just, But now, it's been about maybe going on the second week now of ours. And I'm starting to kind of get some ideas of what to do. So this is my first time, Kickstarter for a comic I did called Time Cheated, but I didn't handle the Kickstarter. And James is handling this Indiegogo, but I want to try to put more input. I didn't really give any input on the other project I did. This one I'm more invested into. So, but it looks great, man. James did a good job, and I'm just trying to figure out get some ideas on my end. So I'm doing some lifting as well. So I'm actually thinking of doing some giveaways, some art giveaways to kind of different contests, to promote our Kickstarter. I'm not Kickstarter, Indiegogo.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gotta remember those names.
Yeah, anything you can do would be good because we just got to build the excitement up and everything. I think we have a really good book. We just need to, keep the energy there.
Got to get the word out.
That's the thing, yeah, definitely, especially now. Because also we're competing with the holidays, so we need to, hopefully not get burned by too much of that. But
yeah, I'm getting some money.
So anyway, yeah, I'm glad that we got to do this. So you got your what's your channel, Andrew?
My channel is, I think it's Andrew Anderson. If you go to youtube.com/cardboardamerica, you'll find me.
/.
Cardboard America.
Oh, so that's your channel name, Cardboard America. Yeah, mine is ESPER999. I just created that when YouTube was just started. I created that channel and I just created that name, but I didn't use it for years. And now I can't figure out how to, well, I can start another one, but it's for some reason it's not letting me create sub channels the way I would like to. I don't know. I got to figure it out. But because I see people that have like multiple channels. So there's a bunch of YouTubers that I follow, and they've got like multiple channels, under different names and everything. But anyway, Esper999 is fairly easy to remember because it's fairly short. And what's yours, Matt?
Mine's just Matt Cossin, no space. So pretty simple.
Okay.
MATTCOSSIN. Yeah. Yeah, I try to keep things that way. My Twitter is also Matt Cossin. My Instagram is matt.cossin. So I'll just try to keep it the same.
All right. Anyway, I have to go because I have a bunch of stuff I still got to do tonight before I go to bed. So,
okay.
But I was glad to talk to you guys, and thanks a lot for helping me because I want to do more of these, and I definitely now that I know how to do it, I'll definitely be doing more videos because I plan to do multiple videos a week. Because that's the other trick is you've got to build up your viewers, and you've got to keep doing videos like, once a day if you can, but if not, at least a couple times a week because, the volume is really important, and just get the word out about your channel to people, and keep it interesting. And we're always interested in talking, so you're welcome to invite us over there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll have you guys on for sure.
Cool. Great.
Yeah, look forward to it.
I'm
gonna try to do more videos myself.
Excellent. Well, I'm gonna
looks good, man.
Yeah, I'll put the information on the video description for people to check out our pages and our websites. Oh, by the way, what's your website, Andrew? Is it like do you have a website?
I don't have a website right now. It's in the making.
Okay, we'll just have your YouTube channel for now. But I'll put it back in the when you have one. I'll put it in the description later.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. All right, great. Well, thanks, guys. That was wonderful, and we'll be doing this again. I'm just kind of burned out today because I just got off work. So I bought a new monitor so I could have two monitors, and for some reason I cannot get this new monitor to be seen by my computer. So I got to figure that out because I really wanted to have it's a monitor that you can swivel so to stand up in portrait mode. So instead of having a landscape monitor, you can swivel it up to be a portrait, which is great for looking at like browsing pages on one. You could have, when you have two monitors, you can have one that you're looking at for main stuff, and then you can have another one on the side to look at, which is great when you're like playing a game on one monitor and you can look at the internet on the other one, So, but I got to, for some reason it's not working for me. So, oh, it looks like I got a chat window. Let's see before I go, see what that is. It doesn't say. Oh, wait a minute. It's just you. Oh, yeah, it's just you sending me your address. Okay. Great. Well, all right, guys. I'll talk to you later. Take care.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
See you later.
Thank you. Bye.